ก็อยากจะขอบคุณจากใจจริงๆนะคะที่สละเวลาประมาณ90นาทีที่จะอยู่กับทางทีม UiPath แล้วก็ Tech Talk ไทยนะคะขออนุญาตแนะนำตัวอย่างเป็นทางการนะคะดิฉันชาลีนนะคะเป็น Director of UiPath ประเทศไทยนะคะเห็นจากรายชื่อที่ได้register เข้ามานะคะเราอาจจะเคยมีโอกาสได้ทำงานร่วมกันและมีอีกหลายๆบริษัทที่ทางดิฉันและก็ทีมงานของดิฉันนะคะอยากจะมีโอกาสได้เข้าไปบริการหรือคอยไปเซอร์วิสนะคะวันนี้เซสชันเราค่อนข้างแพ็คนิดนึงนะคะแต่การันตีค่ะว่าจะเป็นเซสชันที่สนุกเพื่อไม่ให้เป็นการเสียเวลานะคะดิฉันขออนุญาต kick off ตัวเว็บ i นา r เลยค่ะสักครู่นะคะไม่ทราบว่าทุกท่านได้เห็นหน้าจอของดิฉันไหมคะ
เห็นครับ
โอเคค่ะงั้นเดี๋ยวในส่วนของเว็บ i นา r วันนี้นะคะเราจะมีเนื้อหาที่โดยกรอบรวมประมาณ90นาทีแต่จริงๆแล้วพวกเราตั้งใจที่จะให้จบก่อนเวลา90นาทีนะคะซึ่งรวมทั้งเกมนะคะแล้วรวมทั้งเรื่องของการประกาศผู้ชนะที่จะได้รางวัลจาก UiPath ด้วยนะคะโอเคก่อนอื่นนะคะด้วยความที่
This is a
เซสชันของวันนี้ค่ะเราจะให้พลังงานในการโฟกัสเรื่องของUiPath Document Understanding Solution ค่อนข้างเยอะดิฉันมีวิดีโอสั้นๆนะคะที่จะท่านดูนะคะว่าหนึ่งในลูกค้าของเรานะคะจริงๆเรามีลูกค้าหลายท่านที่ประสบความสำเร็จในการใช้ UiPath Technology แล้ววิดีโอที่ดิฉันจะแชร์ต่อจากนี้ไปนะคะคือลูกค้าที่เป็น Canon นะคะเดี๋ยวผมอนุญาต
This is a story about the power of images. This is the story of Canon, one of the world's leading imaging companies. Copiers, printers, cameras, even the ones used in Hollywood. It was founded in 1934 as Precision Optical Instruments Laboratory. They changed their name to Canon. For more than 85 years, they've helped create, print, and copy images that have changed minds, that have changed perspectives. Quick question though. What does any of this have to do with invoices? Well, more than meets the eye. Say hello to Tom Ervolino. What's the story, Tom?
Prior to 2019, it was really challenging because we were still manually inputting a lot of information, especially our dealer invoices, which we get about 4,000 a month. High amount of complexity. It was not uncommon to have a 3 or 4 month backlog. It's just really not a good situation.
That changed in 2019 when Canon's then CFO saw a demonstration of automation. Intrigued, he tasked Tom and his team with understanding it.
Once we started using UiPath to process invoices, the benefit was immediate.
We started with a pilot program for 5 bots that we wanted to present to senior management. I'm proud to say we're up to 135 now. We've actually repurposed our staff to do more analytical things and not these mundane daily tasks.
Within a month of having the bot in place, our backlog was eliminated.
Seeing the platforms, when we first initially started, UiPath was much more user-friendly, drag and drop. Just as a whole, it was easier to understand.
The game changer for us has really been document understanding. Some of these invoices come in, they're 5 to 10 pages long, they're very complicated, handwritten sometimes. We handed these over to the bot and we thought it could never do it.
The amount of data that it needed to be scraped off the invoices, the level of accuracy, there was O's versus zeros, but it worked right away.
Canon's CEO has challenged the company with going beyond traditional boundaries. Tom and his team believe automation can be at the forefront.
In the past, people hear the word robot and they think, oh, I'm losing my job. It's not taking your job, and that's what we've explained to people. It's really changing your job. Look, I'm just a finance guy. We don't often get to change the norm or find new ways to do things. But this is an imaging company. It's all about how you see things and how you're willing to change your perspective.
Automation and AI are waiting for human beings to define it, to change how we see what's possible. At Canon, they're using AI and automation, and it's helping one of the world's great imaging companies focus in new ways. There's power in images. You just have to know how to look.
โอเคหวังว่าวิดีโอที่เรามีโอกาสได้แชร์ให้ทุกท่านได้รับชมเมื่อสักครู่นะคะคงจะอินสปายในหลายองค์กรนะคะว่าจริงๆแล้วด้วยบริบทหรือความท้าทายในเรื่องการจัดการเอกสารเนี่ยณวันนี้นะคะเรามีเทคโนโลยีที่พร้อมนำไปใช้งานแล้วเราก็ยินดีที่จะนำเสนอเทคโนโลยีนี้ให้กับทุกท่านได้ทราบนะคะก่อนอื่นดิฉันอยากขอresetting นิดนึงนะคะเข้าใจว่า ท่านที่ลงทะเบียนมาร่วมงานวันนี้อาจจะมีคนที่เคยใช้งาน UiPath อยู่แล้ว และมีอีกหลาย ๆ องค์กรที่ยังไม่เคยรู้จัก UiPath มาก่อนดิฉันขออนุญาตแนะนำนิดเดียวนะคะโอเคต้องบอกงี้ค่ะว่าUiPath เนี่ยเราได้ทำการเขาเรียกว่า commercialize ตัวเทคโนโลยีของเราคือปล่อยตัวซอฟต์แวร์ของเรานะคะให้มีผู้ใช้งานเนี่ยตั้งแต่เมื่อประมาณเกือบ10 ปีที่แล้วนะคะซึ่งณเวอร์ชันแรกที่เราออกมานะคะก็คือตัวของ RPA นะคะ Robotic Process Automation เทคโนโลยีตัวนี้เนี่ยต้องบอกว่าเราได้รับความนิยมอย่างมากนะคะซึ่งจะเป็น hot trend ถ้าอยากให้ทุกท่านโดยเฉพาะองค์กรที่มีโอกาสได้ใช้งาน UiPath นะคะจริงๆ UiPath เข้ามาทำการตลาดในประเทศไทยเนี่ยตอนประมาณปี 2018 ณ ตอนช่วงปี 2018 2019 2020 เนี่ยคือเป็นยุคทองของ Automation เลย UiPath ต้องเป็นหนึ่งในท็อปคือท็อป 2 ของเทคโนโลยีที่ลูกค้าองค์กรนะคะในประเทศไทยมีโอกาสได้ใช้ ณ ปัจจุบันเนี่ยในประเทศไทยนะคะเรามีมากกว่า 500 องค์กรนะคะที่ใช้เทคโนโลยีของเราแต่ดิฉันกำลังจะบอกว่าอันนี้คือ10 ปีที่แล้วที่เราปล่อยหรือ commercialize ตัวของ robotic process automation ออกมาณวันนี้นะคะคืออยากจะเรียนแจ้งนะคะว่าตัวRPA ของ UiPath นะคะยังคงได้รับเขาเรียกว่า business credential นะคะจากตัวของ Gartner ณตัวฉากตัวนี้อยากจะแสดงให้ทุกท่านเห็นแล้วก็ให้มั่นใจนะคะว่าตลอด5 ปีที่ผ่านมานับตั้งแต่ปีที่ UiPath เข้ามาcommercialize หรือมาทำการตลาดในประเทศไทยก็ได้ค่ะตั้งแต่ปี 2019 จนถึง 2024 5 ปีติดต่อกันที่ทางตัว RPA Technology ของเราเนี่ยได้รับการเขาเรียกว่าแรงอยู่ใน leader ของGartner MQ นะคะนี่อยากให้ทุกท่านมั่นใจทีนี้เรากำลังพูดถึงเทคโนโลยี RPA ที่ปล่อยออกมาเมื่อ10 ปีที่แล้วในระหว่างการเดินทางของ10 ปีของเราเนี่ยแพลตฟอร์มของ UiPath เนี่ยเกิด evolve ขึ้นมากมายนะคะคำว่า evolve ตัวนี้นะคะซึ่งก็ดีนะคะซึ่ง evolution ของตัวเทคโนโลยีของเรานะคะต้องบอกว่าเราได้แอดตัวเขาเรียกว่าความฉลาดของservices นะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นตัว document understanding ตัว Gen AI integration service ต่างๆนะคะซึ่งณตอนนี้ค่ะโดยเฉพาะในประเทศไทยนะคะกำลังอยู่ในเขาเรียกว่าเวฟที่2ของautomation maturity ก็คือการนำ RPA บวกกับ AI tooling เข้ามาใช้ร่วมกันเพื่อให้เกิดเขาเรียกว่า AI value realization นะคะซึ่งตอนนี้เนี่ยเรามีลูกค้าทั้งในองค์กรนะคะที่อยู่ในประเทศไทยเริ่ม adopt นะคะตัวของAI เข้าไปใช้โดยเฉพาะตัว document understanding นะคะทีนี้ดิฉันอยากจะslide is something okayขออภัยนะคะ some slides โอเคทีนี้วันนี้นะคะเรากำลังพูดถึงตัวบริบทของตัว document understanding ในหลายๆ องค์กรนะคะยังมีความเข้าใจว่า document understanding ก็คือการทำความเข้าใจในขบวนการของเอกสารเนี่ยจริงๆแล้วเบสิกเลยคือเรื่องของ OCR หรือแม้กระทั่งบางองค์กรเข้าใจว่าเอา RPA ไปทำในบริบทของ document understanding ก็ยังสามารถทำได้นะคะแต่จริงๆแล้วเนี่ยในมุมมองของ UiPath หรือ Point of View ของเราเวลาที่เราพัฒนาผลิตภัณฑ์นะคะตัวของ document understanding เนี่ยความหมายคือจริงๆแล้วตรงตัวเลยนะคะหน้าที่ของมันเลยนะคะก็คือ extract คือเขาเรียกว่าถอดข้อมูลนะคะแล้วก็แปลความข้อมูลคือสารที่อยู่ในเอกสารและทำความเข้าใจบริบทของเอกสารจนถึงการ action นะคะเพราะฉะนั้น document understanding ของ UiPath เนี่ยมันเป็นมากกว่า OCR มันเป็นมากกว่า RPA และมันคือการควบรวมตัว AI นะคะก็คือตอนนี้เนี่ยเรามี out of the box เขาเรียกว่า document template นะคะที่ UiPath เนี่ยไปเทรนเขาเรียกว่าความหลากหลายของตัวเทมเพลตของข้อมูลก็คือตามแต่ departmental หรือตามแต่ persona จะเอาไปใช้เลยค่ะ invoice bill of landing visa passport ซึ่งตอนนี้เรามีข้อมูลที่ถูกเทรนด้วย AI ของเราแล้วอย่างมากมาย ความหมายคือว่าลูกค้าที่ตัดสินใจที่จะเข้าสู่กระบวนการการพิจารณาตัว document understanding ทุกท่านจะมีโอกาสได้ประสบการณ์เขาเรียกว่า3เทคโนโลยีนี้ร่วมกันและเรามี out of the box AI services นะคะที่ทุกท่านสามารถไปดาวน์โหลดตัวเทมเพลตแล้วก็เทรนโมเดลของตัวเองให้เป็นบริบทขององค์กรนั้นๆได้เลยนะคะโอเคทีนี้หลังจากที่ดิฉันได้ไฮไลท์very quick นะคะเกี่ยวกับ RPA คืออะไร Document Understanding คืออะไรแต่จริงๆแล้วเนี่ยค่ะตัว Business Analyst ที่เป็น global ระดับ global นะคะคือ say itself อะค่ะก็คือว่า UiPath เนี่ยถูกแรงนะคะตั้งแต่ assessment version นะคะตั้งแต่ Peak Metric ตั้งแต่ Forrester Wave เนี่ยเราเป็น top leader ในขบวนการของ document processing intelligent document processing เพราะฉะนั้นอยากให้ทุกท่านมั่นใจได้ว่าเทคโนโลยีของเราเนี่ยคือถูกbuild on purpose แล้วก็ fit for purpose เพื่อจะช่วยให้ลูกค้าเนี่ยแก้สมการคือแก้ปัญหาว่าฉันมีปัญหาเรื่อง challenge ในการทำ document processing มันมีเทคโนโลยีอะไรที่ฉันจะช่วยแก้ problem statement ตัวนี้นะคะโอเคสเต็ปถัดไปนะคะดิฉันอยากจะเรียนทุกท่านว่าวันนี้เราพูดถึงตัวของเว็บ2แล้วนะคะก็คือ RPA บวกกับ AI tool แล้วจนเกิดAI value realization ณปัจจุบันนะคะโดยเฉพาะ Gartner เพิ่ง release ออกมาน่าจะเป็นประมาณสักปลายปีประมาณ November ปี 2024 นะคะโลกกำลังพูดถึงเขาเรียกว่าเทรนด์หรือ next curve ของautomation maturity ตัวใหม่นะคะเราเรียกว่า agentic automation ซึ่งในบริบทของ UiPath นะคะตัว agentic automation ของเราเนี่ยซึ่งประกอบไปด้วยตัวของagent นะคะตัวของ RPA แล้วก็รวบประกอบกับตัวของ AI tooling ที่เรามี provide ไว้ทั้งหมดนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นอยากให้ทุกท่านทำความเข้าใจค่ะว่าโรบอติกกับเอเจนต์ทำงานต่างกันยังไงนะคะสำหรับทุกท่านที่เคยมีประสบการณ์ในการใช้ตัว RPA ของ UiPath มาอยู่แล้วแน่นอนค่ะมันถูกสร้างมาคือ fit for purpose เลยอะไรที่เป็น structure rule based logical repeatable tasks ตัวนี้โรบอททำหน้าที่ไปนะคะเป็นเหมือนสมองข้างซ้ายส่วนด้านขวาด้วยความที่AI เรา evolve เยอะมากนะคะในโลกปัจจุบันนะคะตัว AI tool ได้ออกมาเยอะๆเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยตัว agent ของเราก็คือตัวเทคโนโลยีที่มีความสามารถในการ handle งานอะไรที่เป็นเขาเรียกว่า ad hoc basis unpredictable tasks หรือแม้กระทั่งมีการตัดสินใจร่วมกันนะคะในการ take action บางอย่างนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นตัว agent จะกลายเป็น goal oriented objective นะคะส่วนโรบอทจะเป็น task oriented objective นะคะทีนี้อย่างที่ดิฉันเรียนแจ้งไปว่าถ้าอยากจะเชิญทุกท่านนะคะที่มีประสบการณ์ในการใช้ RPA อยู่แล้วเริ่มทำการเขาเรียกว่า adopt ตัวของ AI อย่างเช่นตัว document understanding next wave ถัดไปนะคะอยากให้เรียนพิจารณาตัวของ agentic automation นะคะซึ่งมันเป็นการควบรวมความแข็งแรงในเชิงของ functionalities หรือ capabilities ของเทคโนโลยีที่เราลอนช์ออกมาเมื่อ10 ปีที่แล้วบวกกับเทคโนโลยีที่เป็นสมัยปัจจุบันเอาเข้ามาด้วยกันนะคะเพื่อให้ทุกท่านเนี่ยทำการ address อะไรที่เป็นเขาเรียกว่า goal based objective ได้ดียิ่งขึ้นนะคะโอเคอย่างที่เรียนแจ้งนะคะบริษัทของเราเนี่ยก็ถือว่ายังเป็นบริษัทที่ยังเป็นหนุ่มสาวนะคะเราเดบิวต์เข้ามาประมาณเมื่อ10 ปีที่แล้วณตอนนี้ UiPath ก็ยังอายุประมาณ10 กว่าขวบแต่สเตทเมนต์นี้ที่ออกมาจาก CEO ของเรานะคะอยากแสดงให้ทุกท่านมั่นใจว่าเราในฐานะที่เป็นinnovator นะคะเราพัฒนาเทคโนโลยีแล้วเรา infuse ตัว AI capability เนี่ยเข้ามาอยู่ในทุกๆ layer หรือทุกๆ service ของเราเพื่ออำนวยความสะดวกนะคะให้กับลูกค้าเนี่ยได้เอาเทคโนโลยีตัวนี้ไปใช้เพื่อ solve problem statement business problem statement ของตัวเองนะคะทั้งนี้ทั้งนั้นเพื่อไม่ให้เป็นการเสียเวลานะคะเดี๋ยวดิฉันขออนุญาตเชิญคุณโทมัสนะคะที่เป็นSolution Engineer Consultant นะคะมา walk through นะคะเกี่ยวกับความเข้าใจเชิงลึกของตัว Document Understanding Technology นะคะซึ่งเป็น Objective ของวันนี้เชิญคุณโทมัสค่ะ Welcome คุณโทมัส please
Thank you very much, Charlene. Thank you very much for all of you who's joined us. Before we go to the part when I show you how to put together a solution that involves UiPath platform, document understanding, and eventually our agents, I will ask my colleague to run a quick poll to see how familiar you are with certain topics that Charlene just spoke about.
เดี๋ยวขอ
Let's run.
ด้วย quick poll นิดนึงนะคะว่าทุกท่านเคยรู้จักบริบทพวกนี้หรือเปล่า เดี๋ยวเชิญโพลขึ้นมาได้เลยค่ะ
No worries, take your time, read the question at your own pace, because that's a very, very interesting outcome that we may see in here. Okay, we're gonna wait another 20 seconds. Ten seconds. And we're good to go. Let's wrap the poll up and see what you've told us. Okay, so it looks like you're quite familiar with robotic process automation. Many of you have already heard about intelligent automation, such as document understanding, for example, combined with robotic process automation. And I'm very, very happy to see that many of you have already heard about agentic automation. This is such an important and I would say a game-changing concept that will be quite intensively exploring and promoting with the time to come. But meanwhile, let me share my screen and show you how documents, we spoke mostly about documents, how quickly and how easily this can be processed with UiPath document understanding. Okay, so you see, this is interesting problem because people for a long time, they spoke about a paperless office, an office that doesn't have any documents around the desks, is not receiving document, it's not processing hard copy documents. And even in 1975, one of the articles, Office of the Future, mentioned that I don't know how much hard copies or printed paper I will want to see in this world. So people for a long, long time thought of getting rid of paper. But the interesting problem is, well, getting rid of paper only solves a part of the problem because documents remain. It doesn't matter if our document is received as a piece of paper. It doesn't matter if we receive a document as a PDF file or JPEG file, there is still a document that needs to be processed. And many companies see it as a significant challenge. Why it is a challenge? Because it is a process that involves quite a lot of people, involves a lot of resources, involves a lot of time, and on top of it, it's prone to errors. People, when they copy data from documents, get tired. People who spend a lot of time staring at the documents and typing data into other systems eventually make mistakes. That's why these tasks, manual tasks related to document processing by many companies are seen as significant challenges. And that's why document processing automation is essentially necessary for everyone. You might have put a lot of effort into getting rid of paper. You will still have documents. Well, they will come as PDFs, which is making them slightly easier to process, as you don't need bulky scanners or other hardware to digitize them, but the documents still remain. Of course, there are plenty of initiatives to introduce e-documents like iDocs or any other form of digital invoices or whatnot. But, well, these ideas surfaced up, I think, around 20 years ago. And because of our human nature, our attachment to the document, you can see these are moving very, very slowly ahead. So what do we need? Well, we need a solution that will fit every company and solution that will essentially fit every department across the organizations. And when you think about the variety of the documents, it's pretty huge. Well, we can look at financial services and insurance companies processing a lot of application, claims, vendor and customer onboarding forms. You can think of finance processing invoices, and you can think of human resources processing CVs, letters, applications, on and on. The variety is huge, and the volumes are actually ever growing. So we need something that can, first of all, handle a huge volume of documents, can handle a variety of documents, and also be ready to deal with local specifics of the invoice process or document processing. And you know, these local specifics go as deep as, well, being able to read, for example, a Thai alphabet and Thai language, being able to understand the dates or other formats that are specific to a country of document origin. So this kind of solution is UiPath Document Understanding. And it fits very well with any kind of document. Whether it's a structured document, well, structured documents are simply documents that are always looking the same. You can see an example of a passport here, or ID, or application form. It's essentially a document that we know how it looks like. It doesn't change regardless of who we receive it from. And we can very quickly pick up data from specific areas and process it really accurately. Of course, the situation gets more complex with what is essentially called a semi-structured documents. And semi-structured documents are documents that we can predict something about. For example, if we take a supplier invoice, we know there will be a supplier name there. We know there will be an invoice date, invoice amount, and few other properties. But depends on the supplier, we can receive a very differently looking documents. They will have all the data in there where we need, but the layout, template, fonts, and moreover, the document appearance will be different. Approach to semi-structured documents is significantly more challenging and requires a lot smarter, I would say, technology behind. And finally, we have unstructured documents. And unstructured documents are, well, the most difficult to deal with. If we think about contracts, agreements, letters, emails, anything that represents almost like a free text document, picking up information from these documents is now, it's still very challenging, but now it is possible with UiPath Document Understanding. So let's see how we bring value to this challenge of processing documents with AI-powered document understanding concept. Okay, this is where it gets a little technical, but I'm doing this intentionally to show you how scary it may look like, but how simple it is when we finally get to a UiPath demo. So see, what is commonly referred to as document data extraction. Or some people even say, oh, we need to OCR our documents to get the data from them. Well, it's actually a workflow of few connected components that essentially gets you the output that you're looking for. Everything starts with getting the documents. And well, this is where UiPath Robot comes in handy, because our robots can fetch the data from pretty much any location, whether it's your email, whether it's a shared folder, whether it's an FTP server, maybe it is a supplier portal or supplier's customer portal or whatnot, we can get the documents and ensure this experience is completely seamless. The next step is to digitize the document. And this is what essentially is an OCR. Optical character recognition takes our scanned documents, the photo of documents or native documents, and simply converts the pixels into the text. So OCR engine has to be really accurate to, for example, look at the combination of black pixels and tell you, hey, this is letter B, this is number 7, or maybe this is an exclamation mark. So the OCR is important because this is where the language and alphabet dependency can create either a huge opportunity or a huge challenge. So if we digitize the document, now we have text. And using this text, we can do next very important thing, especially if we want to implement what is called the mailroom automation. We can take a bucket, we can take a folder, we can take essentially an email inbox, drop all the documents that our company receives, and have document understanding figure out what kind of documents are these and what is the right process to get them completed. So classification will look at the document, will look at the text extracted or prepared by the OCR engine, and will say, okay, now I have to process this document as an invoice, as a purchase order, as a contract, or maybe as a national ID. Once classification is done, we move on to another very important step, extraction. This is where the big brain is necessary. Because looking at the document, looking at the text, now we have to understand what this text actually means. We can look, for example, at an invoice, find 3 different dates in this invoice. And we need to figure out which of these dates is invoice date, which of these dates is, for example, a delivery date, and which of them is a due date, for example. So you see the extraction, this is where the most difficult decisions have to be made by the software to come back and tell you accurately that this is the set of data that we captured from the document and it's ready to be processed further. Of course, at classification stage and extraction stage, there is always a space for improvement. So if UiPath document understanding finds out that classification returned the results with fairly low confidence, we can train the classifier, validate the documents, and eventually make it better. The same thing applies to the extractor. And with a little bit of extra work, we can tune and tweak the environment to get the highest accuracy one can imagine. But in the end, once we have all the data we need, verified, classified, extracted, and formatted for output, it's time to pass them to a destination system. And this system can be anything. It can be your ERP, can be your CRM, can be any other business application with or without API that you can think of. From step 1 to step 6, it only takes a few seconds to process a document, but the engine behind it, it's a complete complex machinery of robots combined with artificial intelligence, machine learning, generative AI to get the results as we promised. So, well, what's the easiest way to start? First of all, the easiest way is to start with something that we already have. UiPath offers a lot of out-of-the-box, pre-trained machine learning models that you can simply almost drag and drop into a project and have them extract document data for you. You can see the variety. This is not a complete list, but this is a pretty big variety of documents here. We're talking about some structured documents like passports or potentially utility bills, semi-structured like invoices, purchase orders, and even completely unstructured such as contracts and other unstructured document types. With the simple fact that we have prepared these documents and made them available out of the box, you can save significant amount of time, and you don't have to start from scratch. You can just simply deploy and tweak to get the result you're after. But if we go back to those 6 steps that I just explained, or 6 steps of document understanding, some of you may say, Thomas, this sounds like a lot of moving parts. This looks complex. How can I ensure that I can manage this myself and I can extract data as efficiently as possible? Well, with UiPath, we also thought about this. A lot of our customers simply ask their own employees, non-technical people, or people with very little technical experience, to build automations involving document understanding. And that's why we've made sure that this is extremely straightforward. I will show you the entire workflow today, but essentially it involves something what we called an active learning, or active learning modern experience for full. In this case, we simply drag and drop a bunch of documents into a UiPath document understanding, have active learning understand the document, extract the data, classify the document, and eventually reach out to me if some additional training is necessary. All of this is fully automated. All of this is fully guided, and you will see this in a moment. So what are the steps to deploy a UiPath document understanding project? Well, first, we will build. We can start, like I said, with a pre-built model. We will try to get to the stage when our model is now ready to deal with documents. How do we know it's ready to deal with the documents? Well, we have a built-in measurement mechanism that can automatically assess the quality or fitness of the model and tell you whether more training is necessary or model is ready to go to production. Once assessment comes back and tells you, hey, this is a good result, model is ready, now we can publish it and have a UiPath robot or any other application extract data using document understanding. Of course, we want to keep track of how well model performs, how many documents it processes, what kind of potential corrections are made by people, and that's why the monitoring component is involved. So how do we build? Well, it's actually really straightforward. We just define the new project. We specify the list of documents we believe this project will be handling, and we drag and drop a number of documents into the project. The next step is to perform some training and observe how well our documents perform how well our machine learning model performs as it learns and as it gets better and ready for production. You can see there is a dashboard showing you the model's performance or model fitness, plus it actually lists down some recommendation where you can do a further improvement to get this fitness score even higher. Finally, with a single click of a button, you can connect a published model ready for production with a UiPath robot. It can run attended experience, it can run unattended experience, it can even be deployed to work with a third-party application. This part of the process is also extremely simplified. And finally, well, like I said, monitoring part on how many documents how many documents we've processed, how well we have handled, how much time a person spent validating the documents, and on. All of that is available within UiPath document understanding. So if we take a look at one of the example here using unstructured document and what we call the generative extraction or Gen AI extraction, we can deal with a really complex challenges. And let me show you a few things here. For example, in Thai, we support, of course, the language, we support the character set possible. Again, data extraction can be configured really simply, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, let me take a quick look if there are any questions. Okay, I see there's one question. Wow, it is in Thai. So maybe if someone can help me to translate it, I'll be happy to answer. I'm also seeing my colleagues are answering your question. So please feel free to use the Q&A panel. And if we can't answer your question immediately, we'll definitely come back to it. Okay, let's see how it works. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to UiPath UiPath Automation Cloud. This is my landing area. And now let's say I want to create a new project that will be handling invoices as well as, let's say, purchase orders. I'm going to choose document understanding section here. And now I can create a new project. I can give it a name, let's say. Okay, invoice. Okay, let's the TTT invoice and PO. We're going to choose what we call the modern experience. This is most suitable for people who are new to document understanding, who are not technical. And I'm going to expand my advanced options to show you that, to choose the right OCR engine. The one that's currently selected does not support Thai, but I can just simply switch this one, and now Thai language support is enabled. We support around 200 plus languages, so whether it's Vietnamese, Thai, or all the Asian languages, and not only Asian languages, we can find them here. Okay, so this is a welcome screen. On the left-hand side, I have my sections to build, measure, publish, and monitor. What I can do now is, if I know that I want to process invoices, I can simply click Create Document Type, choose an invoice as a starting point, and it automatically appears in my project. You can see document understanding says it's empty, and now I can throw in some documents. Before I go any further, what I can, before I start training my model, I can go to Document Type Manager, and in here, I have a predefined list of fields. You see, these fields were created by UiPath, but you are free to fully modify this. You can add additional field by clicking this button. Additional field. Oh yeah, there is a field name. I can call it, for example, reception ID, and I can define whether it's string, number, date, whatsoever. So I can very easily, without understanding the configuration, I can add new fields. I'm not going to add this field. On top of it, I'm actually going to remove some of the fields. For example, I don't need the, say, payment terms. Maybe I don't need due date, discount amount, shipping charges. I can leave all of that, but if I'm not planning to make any use of this data, or the information that come in there. So I might as well simplify this. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this. And now my configuration is ready. Oh, you click the save button here. My configuration is now ready. So what I have done is I have selected my starting point and I have told the system what kind of data I want to capture. This is where the interesting part comes, because now I have a bunch of invoices. These are Malaysian invoices, English invoices, Thai invoices, and also even I think some of them are Sri Lankan. Oops. Before I move this, I need to stop my presentation 1 second. So I'm gonna select a bunch of documents. Oops. Ah, come on. Bunch of documents, drop them here. So what is happening right now is UiPath document understanding is ingesting the documents. And in this particular case, I skipped the classification step because I told my document understanding all documents that I have just fed to you are invoices. Now you see this processing path or processing information tells me that UiPath document understanding is already reading these invoices and trying to learn from these as much as possible. If I want to add some additional documents, for example, I'm going to grab some purchase orders. I'm not going to create a dedicated document for purchase orders. I'm just going to drag a bunch of them and I'm going to say, figure this out yourself, document understanding. So now you can see in section that we called automatic classification, our purchase orders are being processed and document understanding automatically identified them as purchase orders and automatically relocated all these documents to the right category. So this is a great thing because now my project can handle not only one document type, but it can handle multiple document types, invoices and purchase orders, and also can handle variety of different layouts. Okay, let's see then what I need to do. See, the available indicator tells me that document understanding has already read these documents and want me to do a quick review whether it picked up all of them correctly. I'm going to click this button to switch into what we call an annotation mode. Okay, so annotation is very straightforward. Most of the work has already been done. You can see, for example, invoice number was automatically identified as here. I didn't do any configuration in advance. This is what document understanding found on its own. Document date is found here. Tax amount is captured here. You see the underline here. Tax rate is captured correctly. Bank account number was captured correctly. And few other properties like, for example, billing address, billing name, vendor name, total amount. All of this is correct. I can always make some adjustment. For example, there is a vendor VAT number, which does not exist in Malaysian invoices. So this is more of a registration number. I can simply click mark as missing. And now I have provided some additional knowledge to document understanding. So it will get better. But we also have some line items here, right? And looks like there is a little bit tricky arrangement here. For example, this is our first line item. This is our second line item. But there is a little bit confusing this part. Balance BF. I honestly have no idea where this fits. So if I want to take a look and make sure that my document understanding got it correctly, I can see that, well, it grabbed the data correctly. We can do small adjustments here, but this one I want to get rid of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first do a small update. I'll tell to include also this part of the text. And here, everything is correct, so I don't need to change. Now, next step, this balance BF, it's a bit of a problem because it's document understanding is thinking that this is part of the description. To me, it doesn't look like it's a part of the description. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to select this, and I'm going to click item 1 to say, no, this is the description, and this is the description. Okay. Now, I have one more. I should have this to group it into a single row. And one more thing, there is an line item amount. It's a bit, requires a little bit of correction. It is 7.5, so I'm just going to select this one, say 4. Press 4 again. And I am essentially done with everything that I need. Okay, there is some mentioned here, but this is of the purchase order. So if I find my input field, there is a P, I can actually say that this is, press the P button, and now this is marked as purchase order. So I can spend only, of course, I'm spending quite a lot of time talking here and showing you how to handle this, what we call annotation. But if I just focused on doing what I do, I would have completed this annotation in a few seconds. So I confirm one of my documents. Let's find some other documents. That is okay. This is a fairly straightforward document here. It comes, let's zoom it out a little bit. You can see again, document understanding pretty much figured out everything on its own. Blah, blah, blah. We have, again, a bit of a problem with the vendor VAT number. I can simply say that mark as missing. And now, if I look into line items, my line items are perfectly fine. Quick confirm. Let's find something more tricky. Okay, you know why I call it tricky? Because I have no idea what's written here. I'm assuming I was told that this is an invoice. And of course, well, as I said, we support Thai language. So some of you sitting there may want to correct me if I'm wrong. But according to document understanding, this is an invoice number, 66 something, something, something. Not sure if it's correct. Document date, UiPath document understanding found it in the right place, but it's just saying, hey, this date looks a little odd to me. That's perfectly fine. I haven't configured the Thai formats yet, Thai date format. Okay, we don't have vendor email address. We have tax account. We have, sorry, tax amount. We have tax rate and billing address. Again, I'm assuming this is correct. You can, if I need to make any adjustment, I can simply select whatever I want, and I can assign this field or assign this value a specific purpose. But I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to go ahead. Okay, and next, line items. Okay, I have a bunch of line items here. I'm really hoping this is all correct, but to me, it all looks quite well. Let's just confirm this. And another document is considered annotated. Okay, this looks too simple. Let's find something a bit more challenging. Also too simple. Yes. Okay. This is another Thai document. And okay, looks quite interesting, but it says tax invoice / delivery order. And I don't see any amounts here, but okay. Looks pretty close to an invoice, what I would say. So let's take a look at what we found here. So we have purchase order number. Well, it wasn't found. I think it was supposed to be here, but you can see that wasn't processed. Then we have the invoice number. Again, looks quite promising. Some email addresses, blah, bank account, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but I want to show you something interesting here. Let's find the vendor name. You see the vendor name, I'm assuming that this is also vendor name, but in the Thai language, right? UiPath document understanding picked up English text because it actually had to make a decision. So what happened is we're using a pre-trained model that was in majority trained on Latin alphabet invoices. So that's why it, even though it read this text correctly and everything is in order, unfortunately, or not fortunately, the machine learning model prioritized Latin alphabet. But I can simply very quickly change this. If I want to capture just Thai characters, I can select them and either choose from this list, or I can just press N. Oops, I think I selected too much. Let's try again. Oh, it's very persistent. Oh, come on. Doesn't matter. We can also later filter this out because you can see that the Thai characters were captured here properly. If we look at the line items, again, we have a very accurate result. And even though this document is printed on the dot matrix printer, you can see quite a lot of text is a little bit skewed and warped and on and on. Well, I can just click confirm and have my document understanding learn from it. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this. You can see I have annotated only 2 or 3 documents. So my document understanding is saying that, well, not enough data to start retraining. I'll show you how the retraining looks like. And for purchase orders, it's a similar situation. I can now choose the annotation. And you can see, for example, all the data is captured fully automatically. So the training effort necessary to set up UiPath document understanding is really, really low. But now let's see what happens when document is, or when model is trained and ready to be deployed. Gonna go back here, find, 1 second, let me find, I have one that I worked before. And you can see when the training is complete, I will immediately get information like this. Of course, in this particular case, I used very, very, very little, very complex documents, and I got some problems, but that's actually a good idea because now I can review what is the problem here. I can see the recommendations like upload more documents, or we actually have a very good performance, but the variety of the document is too low. I can see my data set. Okay, this is how much I processed, but given how poor the variety is, I need to provide some more varying documents. If I check the metrics, I can see how well individual fields perform, but if I have some concern, for example, with buyer contact name, performing only at 75%, I can add more documents. Assuming that is sufficient for me, I can now click publish. And with a single button, let's do it this way. Let's open this in the Studio Web. I can create an automation that will now execute my machine learning model and simply allow me to process new documents. So while my automation is being built by document understanding, I have already run this workflow. You can see we have a step to retrieve invoices, and then for every step, put the log entry, download the file, extract document data, validate the document, and output the data wherever it's necessary. Like I said, I have run this already. So now what I can do is I can switch to I have put a mixture of documents. And what you can see here, I have 4 unassigned tasks pending, actually. Of course, for demo purposes, I told document understanding to stop all the documents and send it for me to validate them. But in the real life situation, what will happen is UiPath document understanding will return the confidence score. And if this confidence score is high enough, we can bypass the manual verification by a person and have the robot deliver the data straight through. I'm going to pick some of these documents, assign them to myself, and now I can start verifying the data. What do we have in here? This is my first document. That's a purchase order. You can see the quality is actually quite poor. In this zoom level, there is quite a lot of blur and on and on. But still, UiPath document understanding was able to capture all the information with 100% accuracy. And now, after reviewing line items, put here, I can simply say, okay, this looks good to me, and I can submit. If I want to make any adjustment, for example, another document type here, it's a reimbursement form. You see, we have a handwriting in here. If I look at the name, it was captured in here, but the OCR engine had a bit of a challenge. The Z in here is, well, unusual. What I can do is I can correct this myself here. This will be recognized as a field validated by a person and make sure, we can track of all these possible changes. Next, I'm going to take a look at the line items. You see in here, I do have a pretty tricky, what we call the pretty tricky handwriting, but still, we're able to capture this quite well. There is only one problem though. In here, our amount in this input field was not captured correctly because of the corrections and whatnot. What I can do is I can still select this value and I can ask model to try again. And now you can see with my advice where to get the actual data from. Not from here, not from here. I am able to get the right data. So even some challenging handwriting can be handled by existing document OCR engines. Let's take a look at one more document maybe. Let's see. Sorry, I'm gonna just save it. Okay, this is an invoice. So what I can see here is, well, the confidence level of the classification is fairly low, but still it was picked up as an invoice, which is correct. If you look at all the other fields, input fields in here, the confidence score is like 100%, 94%, on and on and on. So this means we had pretty much all the information right. So I can just say that looks good and submit document for processing. So this is essentially UiPath document understanding. We have actually built a working process throughout this entire presentation. Uploaded a number of documents, had UiPath document understanding read these documents and automatically extract the data, automatically classify necessary, learn from the feedback provided by a person, and eventually execute an automation workflow that was leveraging a working accurate model. This is UiPath document understanding. But we are not yet done. I still have a few minutes, and I want to show you that document understanding, even though it's a really powerful solution, actually can do a lot more if combined with what we call an agentic automation. When you think about this, getting the data from document is the first step. If we get it accurately, well, does it mean that the process is over? No, it doesn't, especially in case of invoices. What if suppliers send us an invoice with discrepancies? What if there is a dispute? For example, supplier is trying to charge us more than we had in the purchase order. What if supplier is trying to charge us some penalties or whatnot, right? In this particular case, the data itself that we captured from the document is a first step. The second step is to make sure that these data are properly matched, accounted for, and finally saved in the system of records. But these kind of workflows, even though document understanding does a great job, are still quite complex. Think about dispute handling or discrepancy handling of between you and the suppliers. These workflows are quite complex and have a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of decisions that need to be made in order to resolve or in order to choose the right path to the resolution. And finally, we're maybe working with documents that contain a lot of sensitive data. So we need to make sure that we can process them in a safe and trusted environment. This is where UiPath Agentic Automation, together with UiPath Agentic Automation Platform, step in. And thanks to the agentic automation, we can actually innovate and create processes or services or products even that we couldn't do before. If you imagine that this big gray box represents what you can automate, every possible process that you can automate within your organization, using only robotic process automation will cover this part. If we add some intelligence to this, like document understanding, machine learning, natural language processing, and other UiPath platform components, our ability to automate is significantly expanded. But agentic automation does something unique. It actually allows us to go beyond. We can still automate variety of processes that you have within your organization, especially those more complex, involving more people. But we can also innovate through automation. For example, we can very easily create an agent that will look at the invoice data extracted by document understanding, perform automatic matching, and in case of discrepancies, automatically initiate communication with the supplier. In just RPA world, this dispute investigation and dispute resolution would be normally manual and involving people from the beginning to the end. But adding an agent, we can now do this fully automatically. Let me show you a short video how it is done.
Hi everyone, I'm Taki and I'm a product manager working on UiPath.
Just quick check if the sound coming through. Charlene, maybe you can confirm?
Yes, can hear.
Okay, awesome.
Enterprise agents. Here's something that's familiar to many of you. Processing vendor invoices. You trust UiPath robots to do two-way matching between vendor invoices and your purchase orders. But what happens when things don't match? Well, today, humans have to step in, and it takes hours and days for them to investigate mismatches and resolve disputes. And this goes on over and over. But now, with UiPath Enterprise Agents, we can automate this entire process with a combination of robots and agents. Let's see how we can build this first agent in this agentic workflow. It's easy to get started. We've built a lot of agents for you in the UiPath agent catalog, and you can use these as is or customize them to suit your needs. Here's a pre-built dispute investigation agent that I can use as a starting point, and I can open it up in the brand new UiPath Agent Builder. This is our new low-code experience to build, test, and deploy agents that don't just work, they work reliably and effectively for business-critical processes. UiPath Enterprise agents have 4 key components. First, I can simply instruct the agent in natural language. So I've given it a specific role and a clear goal to investigate invoice disputes. Next, agents need tools to do their job. So I've given this agent access to supplier information in SAP and a parts list reader to research information about mismatched parts. Let's see what other tools are available. Now this is powerful. Our agents can use the entire UiPath ecosystem as tools. So yes, all your activities, all your connectors, the millions of automations that you have all created over the years, even other agents. And folks, these are not personal productivity tools. These are business systems and enterprise systems of record. Thanks to the UiPath ecosystem, no one else has agents with a tool set this rich. Next, I can give the agent access to enterprise context, so it can refer to policy documents and other information, just like a member of my finance team. And this is using the context grounding service that just went GA this week. And finally, we know that sometimes agents will need help. So we've baked this concept of escalations right into the definition of agents. And in this case, I've instructed the agent to contact me over the UiPath Action Center if it cannot find the email address of a supplier. Okay, so let's do a demo. I'm going to give some example inputs to the agent right here about some mismatches, and I can just click run. And the first thing the agent is going to do is create a plan based on the instructions I gave it and these inputs. So let's watch what it does. It started to use the parts list reader tool that I gave it to research information about the mismatch parts. There you go. Now it's referring to those policy documents. And now it started to bring up SAP to look up information about the supplier. And this is unique to UiPath Enterprise agents because, as you'll note, it's running a UI automation right here on my machine against SAP S4, actually. So now it's back to Agent Builder, and let's look at what happened here. Okay, so what it's saying is that the email address for this supplier was actually not present in SAP. So just like I instructed it, it's now escalated to me to help it go further. So I can go to the Action Center, hit refresh, and there it is. This is the escalation message. I can review it quickly, and of course, I can respond with the email address that's missing. But what's really important is that for this supplier, the agent will not ask me again, because agents have memory, just like humans, and this helps them get better over time. So I'm going to just submit the response here. Okay, back to Agent Builder. So now that we've designed our agent and we've tested it once, you might be wondering, how do I make sure that this agent actually works well in real-world conditions? What sets UiPath apart is that you trust us to work with your business-critical systems, and we know that accuracy is paramount. So we've built this concept of evaluating your agent into the Agent Builder, and you can see that there's evaluation scores that reassure me that this agent is doing its job well. Okay, so now we've designed our agent, we've evaluated it. Next, how do you deploy it? And we're giving you 2 easy ways to deploy these agents. First, you can just click this button right here, and UiPath will automatically create an app for this agent. I previously did that, and this is a chat-style experience powered by an agent. And you can see I asked a question, the agent responded with a citation, and these experiences can be completely customized. But everybody else has a chat experience, so what more can you do with UiPath Enterprise agents? Well, our agents have structured inputs and outputs, so you can simply add them to workflows as activities. This means you can create new workflows that are entirely powered by agents, or you can add agents to your existing workflows to make them agentic. So all of those complicated and tedious tasks that could never be automated before can now be automated with agents. Thank you. That's it for the demo. UiPath Agent Builder is in private preview starting
And that's it. The future of automation is both robotic and agent. Getting the data out from your documents in a reliable and accurate way is the responsibility of UiPath Document Understanding. Making a great use of the data and ensuring the data is correct and goes to the right system, it's a combination of robots and agent responsibility that can deliver it well. This is all from me. Thank you very much for your attention. I'll hand it over to Charlene. And meanwhile, I'll see if I can do and answer some of the questions that may be outstanding.
Thanks a lot
Thank you.
Thomas great presentation โอเคเดี๋ยวเราสวิชกลับมาเป็นภาษาไทยนะคะตามที่สัญญาไว้นะคะเซสชันถัดไปจะเป็นควิสเกมนะคะไม่ใช่สควิดเกมนะคะเป็นควิสเกมซึ่งเราขอ3 top 3 ใน leaderboard นะคะรบกวนช่วย drop ในช่องแชทนะคะเดี๋ยวพอเล่นเกมจบ drop ชื่อตัวเองเห็นชื่อตัวเองปุ๊บ drop ชื่อนามสกุลจริงนะคะเบอร์โทรแล้วก็หรืออีเมลติดต่อนะคะแล้วเดี๋ยวพวกเราจะส่งเขาเรียกว่าของขวัญ UiPath ซึ่งหาไม่ได้ที่ไหนเลยนะคะไปถึงที่ออฟฟิศหรือถึงที่บ้านนะคะโอเคค่ะต่อไปเป็นควิสเกมโอเค alright ตอนนี้ทุกท่านเห็นหน้าจอไหมคะ
เห็นครับขึ้นแล้วครับ
เริ่มเห็นคนหัวใจเข้ามาแล้ว รบกวนสแกน QR code นะคะ แล้วก็ใส่use code ตามนี้ได้เลยค่ะ เย่เย่เย่เรามีผู้เข้าร่วมสัมมนาอยู่ประมาณ130ท่านนะคะ เดี๋ยวให้เวลาตรงนี้อีกสักนิดนึงไอซ์ช่วยพี่ดูหน่อยว่าให้คลิกหน้าถัดไปได้เลยหรือยังเนาะอันนี้พรีเซนต์อาจจะไม่ได้เห็นทุกสกรีนโอเคมาแล้วมาแล้ว มาอีกแล้วโอเควู้ฮู้ค่ะเริ่มแล้วนะคะเกมเริ่มแล้วนะคะ บกวนให้ทุกท่านนะคะช่วยให้ข้อเสนอแนะสำหรับเว็บบินาร์วันนี้ก่อนที่สไลด์ถัดไปดิฉันจะโชว์ใครเป็นผู้ชนะใน leaderboard นะคะโอเคโอเคอ่าโอเคส่วนมากก็เกี่ยวข้องอยากให้มีจัดเวิร์กช็อปจ้าโอเคว้าวโอเคโดยรวมสกอร์ริงก็ดีนะคะโอเคนั้นโอเคค่ะคุณพัชชาคุณ LF แอลมอนและคุณอามีนนะคะเดี๋ยวช่วยใส่ข้อมูลคู่ไว้ด้วยนะพัชชาแอลมอนอามีนนะคะพัชชา congratulations ค่ะคุณพัชชาคุณแอลมอนคุณอามีนนะคะเดี๋ยวช่วย drop ชื่อนามสกุลจริงเบอร์โทรติดต่อแล้วก็อีเมล address นะคะไว้ในช่องแชทหรือเมลให้ทาง Tech Talk ไทยก็ได้นะคะ เดี๋ยวเราจะส่งของรางวัลที่หาไม่ได้ในโลกนี้เลย ต้องมาจาก UiPath เท่านั้นส่งให้ทุกท่านที่บ้านเลยนะคะโอเคค่ะเว็บ i นาร์ของเราวันนี้ก็จบสิ้นเรียบร้อยแล้วนะคะดูจากMentimeter ภาพรวมของงานก็ถือว่าrelevant นะคะก็คือมีประโยชน์มีคุณประโยชน์สำหรับcustomer หรือคู่ค้านะคะที่จอยอยู่ในสัมมนานี้ และก็อยากให้ทาง UiPath เนี่ยมาทำอัปเดตเรื่อยๆ พร้อมกับมาทำเวิร์กช็อปด้วยนะคะ เดี๋ยวเราจะเอาฟีดแบ็กของทุกท่านนะคะไปพิจารณา แล้วเดี๋ยวเราจะอัปเดตนะคะในช่องคอมมูนิตี้ของเราเป็นในลำดับถัดไปนะคะ วันนี้ขอบคุณมากนะคะที่อยู่กับเราประมาณเกือบ1 ชั่วโมงครึ่งเต็มเลยนะคะ แล้วก็ขอให้ทุกท่าน enjoy the rest of the day นะคะ แล้วก็ดูแลรักษาสุขภาพตัวเองด้วยนะคะ ขอบพระคุณมากค่ะทุกท่าน สวัสดีค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ โอเค
ครับกำลังรอชื่อของคุณอัลมอนด์อยู่นะครับอย่าพลาดของรางวัลนะครับรบกวนกรอกข้อมูลมาให้ด้วยครับ
ค่ะ เห็นชื่อคุณพัชรินเข้ามาแล้วนะคะ เดี๋ยว